Hare Krishna, everybody. Dear devotees, welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, the eternal stream of nectar that's giving us real happiness in the face of all the turmoil and chaos in the Kali Yuga right now going on in the world. Glad to have you back with us. We hope you're safe and well and happy in all respects. Right here in the live studios, we're doing pretty good. Sham Kishore is doing great. And yeah, the weather's turning getting a little better. There's a little sunshine today. Rare occasion over here. So things are looking up. Srimad Bhagavatamrta Stotram, a 5 prayers authored by Srila Sanatana Goswami to glorify the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the basis of the Brhad Bhagavatamrta and all of the other Rasa Shastras, by the way, from all the Goswamis. They're all based on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it goes like this. Srimad Bhagavata Mahima Stotram Sarva Shastra Dipiyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja Sarva Lokaika Drik Prada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kali Dvandotita Ditya Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who is supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Madguro Man Mahadana Manistadaga Madbhagya Mad Anandanamostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu saduta dayin atini chochata kada hanamun chagada chenmam premna rit kantayospuda. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Gopakumar is continuing to receive his spiritual education in the most unusual and fantastic way. As a young boy, 10, 12 years old, he's being given the blessings by his spiritual master and the mantra that he's been chanting, given to him by his spiritual master. And he's blessed that he will stay the same age and he will be able to fulfill all his desires by the chanting of his mantra. And he started out completely uneducated, and all the places he's gone to have given him more education spiritually. So now he's in the abode of liberation, and the Vaikuntha Dutas who came there on their way down to the material world to help us in the material world, they're instructing him, and particularly now they're just explaining to him, or they're actually qualifying the instructions that he got in Tapoloka. Because they're very philosophical. The four Kumaras, etc. Pipalayana Rishi. So they're about to instruct him about the difference between meditation and Nam Sankirtan, Prem Nam Sankirtan. Okay, we're starting with text 148 in chapter 3, part 2. The Vaikuntha Dutas are speaking. But we consider chanting to be alone the most excellent form of bhakti, better than remembering, which appears only in one's own turbulent heart. For chanting harnesses not only the faculty of speech, which it engages directly, but also the mind and the sense of hearing. And chanting helps not only the person practicing it, but others as well. Commentary. This is the Vaikuntha Duda's own opinion. Smarana is purely an internal function, but kirtan, which actively employs one's power of speech, affects both one's internal and external environments. Kirtan also acts on the mind, bringing it subconsciously into contact with all spiritual sensory functions. If this subtle contact were not established, the spirit soul could not awaken to its real life. The transcendental sound of kirtan enters the ears on its own strength, without any effort by the hearer, and thus it benefits not only the chanter, but everyone who hears it, treating them all as its subservient dependents. The process of remembrance does not have such power. In fact, as long as the mind's fickle character is not changed, smarana cannot manifest itself fully. When we realistically consider the relative value of smarana and kirtan, we find therefore that the difficulty of performing smarana does not make smarana more important. In the Vishnu Purana 6.8.57, Parashara has said, Yasmin nyastamatir nayati nadakam swargo piyach chintane bigno yatra niveshitatva manaso brahmo pilokopagaha muktim chetasi yakstito maladiyam pungsang dadat yanvayaha kimchidam kim chitram tadagak prayatati vilayam tatrachute kirtite. One who fixes his mind on Lord Achyuta will never go to hell. Indeed, by thinking about him, one will attain heaven. For one whose mind is fully absorbed in thought of him, even the world of Brahma is but an insignificant obstruction on the path. The infallible Lord bestows liberation on those pure souls in whose hearts he is present. Is it any wonder, then, that when Lord Achyuta's glories are chanted, all sins are destroyed? By the kirtan of Lord Vishnu's names, even the sinful Ajamil, who could not remember the Lord at all, attained liberation. The beneficial results of meditation, sacrifice, and worship are all automatically obtained in the process of kirtan, especially in the present age. Jayam krite yajan yagyais tritayam dvapader chayam yadapnoti tadapnoti kalo sankirtya keshavam. What was accomplished in the Krita age by meditation, in Treta by ritual sacrifices, and in Dwapara by worship of the deity of the Lord, in this Kali age is accomplished by loud chanting of the names of Keshava. That's the Vishnu Purana 6.2.17. The claim made in this statement and others about the potency of Harinam Sankirtan is not merely rhetoric. It is proven by the life histories of many successful Vaishnavas. Text 149. If the sense of speech, which sets all the external and internal senses in motion, is brought under constant control, then the mind becomes stable and can properly engage in transcendental remembrance of the Lord. Remembrance thus develops as the fruit of chanting. 150. If those attached to meditation on the Lord still insist that remembering is of greater importance, with their intelligence, they should make the following distinction. In meditation, the Lord reveals himself fully with his particular qualities, but in remembrance, the mind merely comes in contact with the Lord. Commentary. Some sincere and intelligent Vaishnavas are firmly convinced that meditation on the Lord is the best form of devotional service. Since they perceive an authentic spiritual taste from their meditation, their opinion must be honored. But as the Vaikuntha Dutas here suggest, this opinion should be adjusted to make it exactly correct. The advocates of the meditational process think as follows. The faculty of speech has the power to mobilize all the senses, both external, like the ears, and internal, like the mind. If a person steadies his mind by controlling his speech, either through silence or through Bhagavat Kirtan, he can begin the practice of remembering the Supreme Lord. So Kirtan is the means to the goal of Smarana. Scriptures may say that in Kali Yuga, the perfection of Kirtan is itself the goal and automatically includes the results of Smarana. But that is only in reference to the special situation of the modern age. It may also be said that the exceptional faults of Kali Yuga can be counteracted only by the very powerful process of Kirtan, not in meditation alone or any other means. But actually there is no absolute rule that meditation on the Lord is less than enough to wash away the contamination of the modern age. Rather, hundreds of convincing statements of Scripture confirm that simply remembering the personality of Godhead destroys one's sinful reactions. Thus, meditation is the best form of devotional service. The Vaikuntha Dutas accept this opinion as long as it is qualified by the understanding that true meditation on the Supreme Lord is a very mature stage of devotional development. In meditation, the devotee realizes the Lord in the heart and directly perceives many details of the Lord's exquisite beauty and charm, from his feet to the hair on his head. But in the more usual smriti, or remembrance, the mind only comes in contact with the Lord, as when one thinks God exists, or I am the Supreme Lord's servant. Text 151. If by the force of one's meditation, all the functions of the senses, Sankirtan of the Lord, physical contact with Him, seeing Him, and so on, become absorbed into the function of the mind, that meditation may be accepted as better than chanting out loud. Commentary. If a devotee becomes so proficient in dhyana, meditation on the Lord, that the devotional practices he earlier performed with his speech, touch, eyes, and other senses become spontaneous activities of his mind, then of course, for that devotee, meditation has become the most suitable practice. He can inwardly continue his Shravana, Kirtana, and so on, with or without the participation of his external senses. Whatever 152. And Vaikuntha duties are continuing. Whatever the devotional method by which a man with true spiritual taste feels satisfaction and complete joy, that is the method saintly authorities deem most excellent and effective for him. It is not only the best of methods, but the very aim of his endeavor. Commentary. How should we regard the meditation in which a Vaishnava does not experience the sensory functions of Sankirtan, touching the Lord, and so on, but merely contemplates the Lord's form? That style of devotional service should also be accepted as perfect for the devotee who derives pleasure from it. When a devotee feels eager attraction to any of the 9 kinds of service, that devotional method becomes the means for him to quickly fulfill all his desires. Moreover, his practice will gradually evolve into prema, the final goal of devotional life. Text 153. Sankirtan expands the joy of meditation. Meditation, the sweet joy of Sankirtan. I'll read that again. Sankirtan expands the joy of meditation. Meditation, the sweet joy of Sankirtan. In our own experience, the 2 methods fortify one another and are therefore actually one. Commentary. The Vaikuntha Messenger's own opinion is that both meditation and Sankirtan are advantageous. The 2 methods support one another, and because one or the other may be more suitable in different times, places, and circumstances, their mutual dependence should not cause confusion. Either may be done separately, but neither, in the end, is complete without the other. Regardless of which service serves as the cause and which the effect, the 2 are essentially non-different. This is 154. Meditation bestows the same joy as Sankirtan when a meditating devotee directly sees the object of his heart's desire. Such a devotee, intent only on reaching that desired object he worships, is sure to find spiritual peace. 155 and 166. As by drinking cool nectarian water, even if only within the mind, a diseased person stricken by fever enjoys happiness, as the distress of his thirst is quenched, so simply by chanting the glories of the object one worships, one can attain peace. Yet when saintly persons chant without inhibition, they may feel embarrassed, even in a secluded place. Commentary. In general, the tongue cannot fully describe everything going on in the mind. This is especially so in the ecstasy of Harinam Sankirtan. Vaishnavas engaged in Sankirtan may sometimes feel the urge to describe what is happening within their hearts, and although these matters are confidential, may sometimes, by their words and bodily expressions, disclose what should remain private. And this may leave them embarrassed, even when there are no witnesses. Text 157. Meditation one can successfully perform only in seclusion, but sankirtan, either in seclusion or in the company of many others. Commentary. The Vaikuntha Dutas have great respect for the process of devotional meditation, yet their own favorite process is sankirtan. Meditation is limited because to perform it one must be in isolation so as not to be distracted. 158. Of the many ways to chant Krishna's glories, foremost is his Nam Sankirtan. It is deemed the best because it can evoke at once the treasure of pure love for Krishna. Commentary. Besides Nam Sankirtan, chanting of the holy names, the Lord's names, there are many other ways of performing kirtan, such as reciting the Vedas and Puranas, speaking one's own narrations of pastimes of the Lord, singing devotional songs, and offering prayers. Nam Sankirtan, however, is the best of all, because it can at once independently awaken love of God in the heart. Lord Vishnu's messengers are personally convinced of this, and as implied by the unspecific expression matam, it is considered. This is also the opinion of many other spiritual authorities. Text 159. When relished with love in countless ways through service rendered constantly by the tongue, the nectar of Sri Krishna's name delights the heart. Who can describe the unequaled excellence of that nectar of Sri Krishna's holy name? Text 160. Though all names of the Lord are equally great, a devotee most quickly and easily achieves his goals by chanting the name that he himself holds most dear. Commentary. Since the Supreme Lord's names are all infinite in their glories, one name cannot be greater than another. Chintamani stones may appear in different forms, but they all have the same power. Any Chintamani can produce whatever a person wants. Nonetheless, if a devotee is especially attracted to a particular name, that name will most quickly and easily carry him to perfection. Thus, the devotees who favor the name Rama like to cite the declaration of Lord Shiva, Sahasranama Bistuyam, Rama Nama Varanane. My dear beautiful wife, the name Rama is equal to 1,000 names of Vishnu. Padma Purana, Uttara 72, 335. Text 61. Since people have different tastes, each name of the Lord is dear to one person or another. All the names of the Lord are therefore dear. Commentary. A doubting person might ask whether only one of the Lord's names are worshipped and others neglected. In fact, however, every name of the Lord has its devotees. The word He in this verse indicates that this is certainly true. Some Vaishnavas prefer one particular name of the personality of Godhead, and some are attracted to two names, three, or several. 162. When the nectar of the Lord's name appears in just one sense, all the senses are flooded with their own sweet tastes. Commentary. In this way, every enjoyment possible is derived from Nam Sankirtan. 163. Appearing mainly in the sense of speech, the Lord's name gives pleasure to the chanter and to others. So even greater than meditation on the Lord is his Nam Sankirtan. The Sankirtan, this is 164. The Sankirtan of Krishna's names is praised as the best and most powerful means to attain the treasure of Krishna Prema. It is like a potent mantra that can attract precious objects from a distance. Commentary. If one wants the ultimate success in spiritual life, one must take shelter of Nam Sankirtan, as the Vaikuntha Dutas proclaim exuberantly in this verse. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2, 39 and 40 describes how Nam Sankirtan nourishes the devotee. Shrinvan Subhadrani Ratanga Parner Janmani Karmani Chayani Loke Gitani Namani Tat Artakani Gayan Bilaj Jo Bichared Asangaha. An intelligent person who has controlled his mind and conquered fear should give up all attachment to material objects such as wife, family, and nation, and should wander freely without embarrassment, hearing and chanting the holy names of the Lord, the bearer of the chariot wheel. The holy names of Krishna are all auspicious because they describe his transcendental birth and activities, which he performs within this world for the salvation of the conditioned souls. Thus, the holy names of the Lord are sung throughout the world. Evam pratat swapriyat nama kirtya jatanurago drutachitta uchchahai hasatyato rodita roti gayati anmadavan nrityatiloka-bhayayaha. By chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then, fixed in one's vow as an eternal servant of the Lord, one gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Lord. As one's heart melts with ecstatic love, one laughs very loudly, or cries, or shouts. Sometimes one sings and dances like a madman, for one is indifferent to public opinion. Text 165. Because Nam Sankirtan invariably leads to the treasure of pure love for the Lord, true connoisseurs of devotional service consider Nam Sankirtan the very fruit of bhakti. Commentary. According to many pure devotees, Nam Sankirtan is not only the best means of devotional service, but the final perfection itself. Of course, prema is the final goal of bhakti, but Nam Sankirtan so quickly and infallibly leads to prema that the two are considered virtually identical. Wherever prema is seen to have developed, one can presume that Nam Sankirtan must have been performed. Nam Sankirtan is the necessary and sufficient cause of prema. Text 66. According to some knowers of rasa, the real sign of a person full of prema is this. As he performs Sankirtan of the name he worships, the full force of spiritual agony erupts in him by the weight of his own love. Commentary. Other expert Vaishnavas consider Sankirtan and prema to be altogether the same. They are mutually the cause of one another and therefore non-different. Text 167. Like the distressed crying of the chataka birds on a cloudless day of the rainy season, or the lamenting of a flock of Chakravaki birds when parted from their husbands at night. The Sankirtan of the Lord's names arises when one is burdened by too much pain. Commentary. Nam Sankirtan, in fact, appears only when prema has been enhanced in a special way. Prema enriched with transcendental hankering results in Sankirtan. To help us understand, the Vaikuntha Dutas mention, by way of analogy, the Chataka and the Chakravaki birds. The plaintive call of the Chatakas, sounding like Priya, Priya, my dear one, resounds on cloudless days of the rainy season, and the lament of the Chakravakis fills the sky when their husbands are absent at night. In such a way, Nam Sankirtan arises when one feels separation from the Lord in pure love of God. The true way of doing Bhagavan Nama Sankirtan is to call out to one's beloved Lord in agony, expressing one's feelings in various sweet songs to attract Him. As the philosophical maxim states, Siddhasya lakshanam yat syad, sadhanam sadhakasya tat. The practitioner and the means of practice should be in accord with their goal. Text 168. The wonderfully varied sweetness of Sankirtan emerges only by the mercy shown in various wonderful ways by the Lord, the wonderful ocean of the varied rasas of pastimes. This sweetness one can never truly achieve by one's own endeavor. Commentary. The devotees who prefer meditation to Sankirtan might argue that chanting in full view of the public is risky in several ways. Envious people may try to interfere, one may succumb to the allurement of popularity, one may not have the required physical strength, or one may be too sick to chant properly. These dangers do not arise when a devotee simply concentrates on the Supreme Lord in a secluded place. In answer to this objection, the Vaikuntha messengers say that Nam Sankirtan cannot be disrupted by obstacles, for it develops by the mercy of the Lord, not by one's own endeavor. No one can take away that which a devotee has gained as a gift from the Lord. This is true not only for Sankirtan, but for all the 9 methods of bhakti. Text 169. As the worshippers of the Lord desire, by the chanting of His holy names, they see their sinful reactions dwindle to nothing. Even the reactions they are about to suffer. And when other people somehow chant His names, they need suffer only that part of their karma already manifest. Commentary. This explains why devotees engaged in the all-powerful process of Nam Sankirtan may sometimes still feel unhappy. In the beginning of their practice, they may carry some remnants of their past sinful karma. But the Lord's names very soon clean those remnants away, including the reactions about to be suffered and even those already manifest prarabdha in the body and mind. Only if devotees for some reason want to keep their karma is that karma not removed. As the Lord says in Sri Hari Sudodaya 563. Karma chakram tuyat proktam avilangyam surasurahi madbhakti prabalayar martyayar bidilangitam evatat. The cycle of karma I have described is insurmountable for the demigods and the demons. But know that mortals empowered by my devotional service have already escaped it. Sometimes non-devotees chant the Lord's holy names casually or unintentionally. If they somehow avoid offenses in their chanting, they too are absolved of their sinful reactions. Except for their prarabdha karma, the reactions already manifest. These they must suffer, and by that suffering, their prarabdha karma also is depleted. Text 170. The great souls who spontaneously serve the names of Lord Hari fear to reveal the vast treasure of his confidential devotional service, so they behave in peculiar ways to show their own faults and unhappiness. Commentary. What about advanced worshippers like Bharat Maharaj, whose impending sinful reactions apparently kept going on? We should understand that when saintly devotees like Bharat, deeply absorbed in the moods of loving service to the Lord, seem to exhibit material attachment, as when Bharat became obsessed with the care of a fawn, and when they seem to fall into bad association and miserable conditions, as when Bharat took his next birth as an animal, they are only pretending to be materially affected in order to keep the confidential moods of devotional service hidden from public view. Such devotees would rather be treated with undeserved contempt than honored and worshipped. Text 171. All the devotees of the Lord are freed from contamination and misery simply by the sankirtan of his names. Yet some devotees, as disturbed by compassion as the Lord himself, act in these ways to teach people civilized behavior. Commentary. Shouldn't advanced devotees, in order to deliver the world from ignorance, let everyone see their greatness? Yes, but the so-called anomalous behavior of Vaishnavas like Bharat Maharaj is in fact the way of teaching sadachar, civilized human behavior. By the examples of their own lives, they show the consequences of violating the laws of God and material nature. For if people fail to learn how to act according to civilized standards, their hearts will remain contaminated by sinful desires, and they will never become inclined toward the Lord's devotional service. Text 172. As Bharat and others showed the fault of bad association, Yudhishthir and others the fault of gambling, and Nriga and others the fear caused by taking a Brahmana's property, pure souls generally use their own behavior to teach the people. Commentary. Bharat Maharaj showed by his own life the danger of wrong association. Although almost perfectly devoted and renounced, he was distracted into caring for a newborn deer, and therefore had to suffer birth as a deer. A similar case is that of Sobari Rishi, who was deviated from meditation by seeing two fish engaged in sex. In the opinion of the Vaikuntha Dutas, however, in reality, these elevated souls were faultless. Text 173. By the power of bhakti, you will have many realizations, time and again, and for certain you will conquer your most formidable obstacles. In all circumstances, be assured we are your helpers. Commentary. Since devotees may have to endure formidable tests while practicing Nam Sankirtan, Gopakumar may doubt his own fitness to take up the process. The visitors from Vaikuntha assure him, therefore, that he should not be doubtful and hesitant, but should begin Nam Sankirtan with all confidence if he is worried that he cannot expect to succeed without the blessings of pure devotees. If he is worried that he cannot expect to succeed without the blessings of pure devotees, he should rest assured that the Vaikuntha Dutas will always be there to help him wherever he goes. If he needs to understand anything philosophically or has any difficulties to overcome, they will give him the support he needs. Text 174. The greatest mercy of Sri Krishna Chandra we have found is firmly established in you, because even the arguments of the residents of Tapoloka could not dissolve your eagerness to see in person the Supreme Lord. Text 175. The form of the personality of Godhead, absolutely real, is the concentrated essence of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Only with senses that are fit can one perceive that Satchidananda form. Yet by the power of the Lord's mercy, even with the present eyes, quickly one can see it. Thus, one beholds the object most suitable for one's vision. One achieves this by the Lord's mercy, or even by one's own endeavor. Commentary. This verse and the next summarize the opinions of Pipulayana Rishi, who on Tapoloka had recommended meditation to Gopakumar as the best method of realizing the Supreme Lord. Only with senses that are fit can one perceive the Lord, he had said, but the Lord's mercy can transform the limited senses of a conditioned soul, making them fit to perceive the unlimited. By the Lord's mercy potency, Karunya Shakti, his personal form is revealed to a fortunate soul, or that soul may be empowered to discover the Lord even with his own senses. No material conditions can limit the influence of the Supreme Lord's Karunya Shakti. Text 176. Even though one's vision of the Lord has its origin in the eyes of knowledge, one may think, I am seeing him with my own two eyes. This simply indicates the power of Lord of Krishna's mercy, by which the devotee feels his own special joy unfurl. Commentary. Some less devotional thinkers would argue that some less devotional thinkers would argue to Pipulayana that one can behold the Supreme Lord only with the eye of knowledge, not with external senses. If the Supreme were an object of material vision, they would say, he could not be transcendentally self-manifest. Pipulayana would respond that even if this is true, a special ecstasy is available only to one who presumes that he sees the Lord with his own eyes. And even if devotees only imagine themselves to be seeing the personality of Godhead with their own eyes, the ecstasy they experience is real. That ecstasy itself has descended upon them. That ecstasy itself is proof that the potency of the Lord's special mercy has descended upon them. making them rejoice with wonder. The Supreme is impossible to see, but now I am seeing him right before me. Hare Krishna. That's 8 o'clock. So we'll stop our reading tonight after that lovely exposition of the Vaikuntha duties about the glories of Nam Sankirtan and about all the other process of devotional service in the process. So if there's anything that stuck out in your minds that you want to reflect upon, comment upon, or discuss, please be our guest. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shyam Kishore is dutifully scrolling through the Hare Krishna.
Rati Manjari said, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Jai Rati Manjari, Hare Krishna.
Sudevi Dasi said, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Then Gopakanya Devi Dasi from the Netherlands said, Dear Maharaj and all friends, just waiting for these transcendental readings of Sri Brhad Bhagavatamrta from Sri Maharaj Lotus Mouth Happy Ekadashi to you, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. As Vaisheshika Maharaj say, just staying in Krishna consciousness, though sometimes hit with unusual material pandemic. Thank you again and again, dear Maharaj, for blessing us with your divine, daily, unique associations. Though not most of the time attentively and understand everything, but I shall go on listening you every day repeatedly. These readings of Srila Prabhupada's books become my life and soul and share to others. Please bless me, Maharaj. I don't have that much time for readings of Srila Prabhupada's book every day. As my Gurudev Sri Bhakti Charu Swami said, that hearing from the authentic Guru and loyal servant of Srila Prabhupada, Jai Maharaj and Jai Srila Prabhupada.
There's that one really nice story when Lord Chaitanya, thank you Gopakanya, a very nice reflection, a very nice sentiment, thank you very much. It reminded me of the story when Lord Chaitanya went into South India and he saw this Brahmin sitting in the square of the village, and he was reading the Bhagavad Gita, and he noticed that the pronunciation was not correct. And he also noticed that there were villagers who were teasing him. Oh, Brahmana, what are you reading? Because they knew that he was illiterate. What to speak of not having time, to hear or to read. He was illiterate. So then, you know the story. Lord Chaitanya embraced him when he asked him, why then are you crying if you can't understand what you're reading? He said, well, the book on the cover, there's Krishna, driving the chariot of Arjuna, and I just think how kind the Lord is to serve his devotee like that, and I cry naturally. So then Lord Chaitanya picked him up and embraced him and said, you were the knower of the Gita, even though he was illiterate. But then our acharyas say that it's not that he just though he couldn't read didn't mean that he couldn't understand. And he attended lectures and heard the philosophy from great souls. And therefore he had that ability. See? So even if we don't have time to read, if you go on hearing like this and you get a taste for hearing, everything can be revealed to you by this process. Guaranteed. Especially in the company of devotees. Now look at this transcendental situation. I don't know how many of you are out there on cyberspace right now. 80. 18.
Mm.
But by the time a few days roll by, there's usually anywhere from 150 up to 600, 700, 800 devotees who are hearing. So, therefore the hearing is the most important thing. It's even more important than chanting in a sense, and we'll hear about this later on by Kuntaduris or Narada Muni, I can't remember which. They'll talk about this subtle point. So yes, go on hearing, and even if you don't understand, keep on hearing. And eventually, from inside your heart, when Krishna sees how eager you are to hear, he will reveal from within your heart everything. Hare Krishna.
Just hearing from the authors for a long time, get deliverance from this material world. Very much indebted to you, dear Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Radharani said, Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Krishnangi. Yeah. Maharaj, I'm grateful for the blessing to tune in to the reading today. Feeling I'm hearing with my heart so much encouraging words, knowing there are so many well-wishers urging us one. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna, for joining.
That's it so far.
So this is a special day. It's the Ekadasi. I think it's the name of the Ekadasi. I have it right here. And not only is it Ekadasi, but it is the disappearance of, it's Amalaki Vrata Ekadasi. And also it's the disappearance day of Madhavendra Puri, which is a very special day for us because it was Madhavendra Puri who first, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, manifested pure love of Krishna on the earth. There have always been love for Krishna, always, but the special pure love of Krishna in conjugal love that Lord Chaitanya came to give, along with the other mellows. The first time it has come was by Madhavendra Puri. So, and then because his disciple Ishwara Puri served him so nicely at the end of his life, when he became invalid, he served him so nicely that by the blessing of Madhavendra Puri, he became the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya himself. So Lord Chaitanya always took it that although he's the real source of Krishna Prema, and the object of our Krishna Prema rather, Radharani is because he's both Radharani and Krishna, he's both the source of the love, that's Radharani, and the object of the love, Krishna, together. So, but he gave the credit to Madhavendra Puri. So we should worship Madhavendra Puri on his appearance days and disappearance days and all the time, so that we can get the blessings of these souls who have attained perfection, and we can make progress towards perfection. Only through these souls do we get progress to perfection. All right, I thank you so much. Brhad Bhagavatamrta ki jai. Samabeda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you all, and we'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same place, same topic. The creme de la creme de la creme de la creme of pure devotional service, especially Nam Sankirtan. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.